Conor McGregor is out here in Jack Della Maddalena's DMs giving him tips on how to beat Islam Makhachev. Now this is so funny for so many reasons, but first I'm going to read you the quote. Conor said he will be light work at this weight, no finishing capability or positional awareness whatsoever.
Conor McGregor said something that instantly turned the MMA world upside down, and it wasn't even said directly to the cameras. The Irish superstar reportedly told Jack Della Maddalena that Islam Makhachev would be easy work. A fighter who poses no real finishing danger or positional threat.
Got some advice from Mystic Mac, Conor McGregor here. Asked him for some advice against Islam.
Those words passed along through grappling coach Craig Jones sent waves through the sport just weeks before UFC 322. For Jack and his team, it was like fuel before a fire. Having one of the sport's biggest icons casually back him up against one of the most dominant champions in modern MMA gave the Australian camp a massive boost in confidence. Maddalena, who's about to defend his welterweight belt against a man many consider nearly untouchable, couldn't have asked for better timing.
He will be light work at this weight.
No finishing capability or positional awareness whatsoever. He is a backpack at best. Nothing to fear. Fear not. Patience, fitness, and ferocity. And he is sparked unconscious inside the 5.
Sandra Bay. Who the fuck is that guy?
Fuck yeah. That's awesome, man.
That's a good response.
Not long after that message made the rounds, Robert Whittaker made it clear who he's siding with. Having competed in both the middleweight and welterweight divisions, Whittaker knows firsthand how a few extra pounds can completely change the nature of a fight. He sees Maddalena as a man who thrives in chaos but never loses his composure, and that calmness could be exactly what's needed against someone like Makhachev. Whittaker believes Jack doesn't need to completely neutralize Islam's wrestling to win, he just has to avoid getting trapped inside the cage. Keep the fight from turning into a one-sided grappling session, and make the Dagestani respect his striking. If he can do that, Whittaker thinks the upset is more than possible.
Because I think Jack has that X factor. I think he has the gut, the grit, the determination to fight the takedowns, to fight the ground, the takedown attacks that Islam is going to go for. And I think in a striking fight, straight up, Jack is better. I think he wins in the hands. Yeah. I think Jack's got the better game to strike over 5 rounds than Islam does as well, especially if Islam is trying to go for takedowns during the fight. I think, and this is people sleep on Jack's grappling game. They sleep on his jiu-jitsu. I don't think Islam is going to be as gun-ho with the takedowns as everybody believes, because Jack has that level of offense off his back.
Philip Rowe echoed the same faith, though from a more physical standpoint. He doesn't think Makhachev's frame is naturally built for welterweight. In Rowe's eyes, Islam's success at lightweight came from being the bigger and stronger man, but that advantage disappears when moving up a division. Against a naturally larger opponent like Jack, who combines speed, sharp technique, and serious knockout power, Rowe predicts that Islam might find himself out-muscled. He even went as far as imagining Jack's relentless pace slowly wearing Makhachev down, forcing him into uncomfortable territory before the final bell. For Rowe, the fight could be decided by Maddalena's ability to stay efficient and keep a high striking volume without fading.
Philip Rowe, what's cracking, man?
Chillin'.
Hey, now listen, you're welterweight, you've been in the game a long time. Islam moving up to 170. Is he big enough for 170?
My personal opinion, I don't think he is, but he's a champ. We'll see when he's there. You know what I'm saying? He has a fight. He's fighting the champ. That's the best 170 in the world right now, right? So we'll see.
So you don't think he has the size, but how do you think he does in the fight versus JDM?
I personally think JDM beats him. I think JDM will be able to get up if he does take him down. I don't think he'll be able to take JDM shots. I think personally he'll stop Islam.
Then came Colby Covington's take, unsurprisingly more tactical than emotional. Covington acknowledged that Makhachev won't enjoy the size edge he's used to, but he still leans slightly toward the Dagestani. In his view, Islam's seamless transitions between striking and grappling are what make him so dangerous. One moment he's trading punches, the next, he's shooting for a takedown. That constant switch keeps opponents guessing and makes it nearly impossible to settle into a rhythm. Covington sees that fluidity as Makhachev's biggest strength, even against a striker as refined as Jack.
Islam versus JDM, what do you make of that? Islam moving up to now welterweight?
Yeah, it's an interesting fight. I'm excited to see how it goes. You know, Islam, is a lightweight. He's going to be a little smaller in the fight, but he's a well-rounded fighter. So, if he's able to take down JDM and control him, he could definitely get the job done. But it's going to be interesting to see how the size advantage plays a difference in the fight.
Who do you favor?
I mean, I seen the odds were pretty big. They favored Makhachev like 3-1. So I guess I got to go with the odds if they're going 3-1. But just because JDM doesn't have good takedown defense, but you never know. It's a fight, and JDM has some good hands, so it should be an exciting fight for the fans.
Dan Hooker approached the matchup with a ton of respect. He didn't pick a side outright, but acknowledged just how massive of a test this is for Madalena. Moving up against a fighter as complete as Makhachev, Hooker said is no small task. At the same time, he gave Islam credit for stepping out of his comfort zone to chase a second belt, something even Khabib Nurmagomedov, his mentor, never attempted. Hooker admitted he's rooting for Jack to represent their region proudly, but he didn't sugarcoat the truth. The mountain Madalena is trying to climb is steep.
Also, credit to him for stepping up to the plate and coming up to welterweight. He definitely got my respect for being able to move up a weight class and fight Jack Della. It's something that even the greatest lightweight of all time, Khabib, who never managed to chase that accomplishment in being a two-division champion.
In Machado, Gary took a different route, stripping the hype away and focusing purely on the tactical side. In his eyes, the entire fight boils down to one thing: takedown defense. Gary believes Jack's striking is cleaner, faster, and more precise. If the fight stays on the feet, he sees Madalena's as the one with the edge. But once Makhachev gets his hands locked, everything changes. The big question for Gary is whether Jack's defensive improvements, especially after his last bout with a strong grappler, will hold up for 5 long grinding rounds. He's confident Jack has evolved tremendously, but this kind of fight is the ultimate test of both conditioning and composure.
The fight for me really is, when Islam grabs a hold of Jack, how good has Jack improved? Because Islam is world class at that and has been for probably his entire life because of the way he trains and where he has come from. So can Jack stop that consistently like he did against Belal? Because he did a phenomenal job against Belal at stopping that. But can he do that against someone who's just cleaner, more technical? On the feet, I think Jack wins it cleanly. I think he'll jab, switching stances. He'll have a bit more fluidity due to the fact that Islam's not going to be changing stances so regularly. So I think Jack can do it on the feet, but the question mark is, can he stop the takedown consistently over 5 rounds?
Alexander Volkanovski, perhaps the man who knows Makhachev's game better than anyone, added even more weight to the discussion. Having gone through 2 grueling wars with Islam Makhachev himself, Volk understands exactly what kind of suffocating pressure and positional dominance the Dagestani brings. Yet, he still believes Jack has a legitimate chance. Volkanovski was particularly impressed by how Madalena handled Bilal Muhammad's relentless pressure, staying calm, defending smartly, and finding ways to fight off takedowns while landing clean counters. To him, that kind of mental steadiness could make all the difference in a fight against someone as calculated as Makhachev.
So JDM is getting ready for Islam Makhachev. How dangerous is he for Islam? So he's going to be an absolute nightmare. But Bilal, who's a wrestler, look how we handle that. And he's a beast of the meat. Islam's not taking this one lightly. So him moving up, I still think is a nightmare for a lot of the people in the division, but I think JDM can do it.
Meanwhile, analyst Dan Hardy offered one of the most thoughtful breakdowns of the bunch. What fascinates him most isn't just the matchup itself, but how champions handle moving up a division. Being dominant at one weight class doesn't automatically translate to the next. Hardy pointed out that Makhachev's success could depend heavily on how his body adjusts to the added mass and the different pace of the welterweight fighters. He's curious to see if Islam can maintain his explosiveness and stamina when facing bigger, stronger opponents. Hardy also noted that even if Madalena pulls off the win, the challenges won't stop there. The welterweight division is arguably the deepest in the sport, packed with dangerous contenders waiting for a shot. Staying champion, he suggested, might be an even tougher task than winning the belt in the first place.
I think Della Maddalena's got a bright future. I don't know whether he's going to hold the belt or he's going to lose it to another one of the top contenders and then pick it back up again. I don't think he's going to lose it to Makhachev, though. I think Makhachev holds the lightweight belt against anybody in the world, on any day, including Ilia Topuria. I don't think if he moved up, he would have much success against Makhachev.
Carlos Prates had a more emotional take, focusing less on tactics and more on Jack's demeanor. What stands out to him about Maddalena is his calmness, the way he stays patient even when things get intense. Praise believes that patience could be the key to throwing off Islam's rhythm, and instead of panicking about defending every single takedown, Praise thinks Jack just needs to survive the early grappling exchanges and drag Islam into the later rounds. If he can make the Dagestani work harder than usual, fatigue could start to play a major role, and that's when Jack's composure and cardio might shine brightest.
The main event is also in your weight class, JDM and Islam. Who do you think is going to win that?
I think the favorite is Islam, but Jackie show like he grew up a lot as a fighter. Since he stopped fight now, he was a long time without fight, almost 2 years, and he got really good skills to fight Belal Muhammad, defense takedowns. So I think he's gonna win.
You think Jack is going to win?
Yeah.
Wow. You think he wins a decision, or do you think he stops him?
I think decision is really hard fight.
You think Islam stays at 170 or he goes back?
If he lose, I don't know. It depends how he feels during the fights. How close is gonna be the fight, you know?
Daniel Dariush brought a grounded, realistic perspective. He called the move risky for Islam, even with his elite skill set. Dariush argued that when two fighters are technically on par, size and strength start to matter more. And in this case, Madalena naturally carries more muscle, more power, and more comfort fighting at 170 pounds. Dariush still praised Islam's methodical style and his high fight IQ, but he admitted that the physicality of the welterweight division could test him in ways he's never been tested before. It's not just about skills anymore, it's about who can impose their frame and energy over 5 grueling rounds.
Islam versus JDM. Do you still favor Islam in that matchup?
I'm going to lean now towards JDM. I feel like the size will make a difference. Cardio-wise, JDM has great cardio. Maybe I'm wrong, but so I just feel like JDM.
Gilbert Burns offered a balanced middle ground. He suggested that the move to welterweight could actually help Makhachev, and without having to drain himself to make the 155-pound limit, Islam might show up fresher, stronger, and more focused. Burns sees the fight as a tactical chess match between two brilliant camps. With Craig Jones, the submission wizard who helped Volkanovski prepare for Islam, in Madalena's corner, the Australian won't be walking in blind. Burns feels that both fighters have clear paths to victory, and that's what makes this matchup so special. It's not about who's better, it's about who executes better on the night.
Islam is working very hard. He's been saying vocal that he wants to go up to 170. I think he's a big boy. He killed himself to make 55. I think that's the right division for Islam. He just tweeted something after the fight that he will not vacate the title, and then he vacated the title. I don't know, but probably that was in the negotiation. Yeah, I like him moving up. I proving himself. He's #1 pound for pound right now. It's a good fight. Jack and Islam closer than people think, especially with Jack Della Maddalena doing a lot of training with Volk, with Craig Jones, those guys that kind of back the Islam on that first Volk fight. I think they're gonna have a lot of info, a lot of study, a lot of answers. It's closer than people think, this fight. I really like this fight. I don't have time right now. I didn't have time to dig deep a little too much in that fight, but I think it's way closer than people think. And JDM has a clear shot on beating.
Stephen Thompson wasn't fully sold on the idea that Madalena is ready for this level of challenge. Having faced some of the most dangerous strikers in the division, Thompson understands just how steep the climb is from beating top contenders to facing someone like Makhachev. He respects Jack's rise and acknowledges his talent, but he wonders if this jump might have come a little too soon. With monsters like Shavkat Rakhmonov and Ian Gary lurking right behind him, Thompson suspects that Jack might have bitten off more than he can chew. Timing, in his opinion, could end up being the biggest factor here, not just skill.
Yeah, who do you think wins that fight between Islam and Jack Della Maddalena?
Well, first off, I gotta say, if I was Shavkat Rakhmonov or Ian Gary or somebody that is right there who's really worked hard to get there, I'd be pretty pissed. Because, you know, this guy JDM just got the title, and then he's giving somebody else a shot at what I've earned the right to have, you know, which is the title shot. Like, give JDM a shot at, you know, give him 1 or 2 more guys. If he beats them, then give him somebody outside the division. But I would be kind of pissed. I would be kind of upset that they're giving this guy immediately somebody from 155 division. Now, I think it's a very tough fight for Islam Makhachev. Bigger guy, somebody who's faced who won the title from somebody with a similar style in Bilal Muhammad. I do believe Islam Makhachev striking is a lot better than Bilal Muhammad's, but their pressure, their cardio, their wrestling background, fairly similar. Obviously, I think one would be better than the other, but he's faced somebody a lot exactly like him. So I think it would be a tough fight for Islam for sure.
On the other hand, Steve Ursig, another Australian making waves in the UFC, viewed Jack's rise through a much more positive lens. He described Madalena's performance against Bilal Muhammad as one of the finest ever produced by an Australian inside the octagon. What impressed Ursig wasn't just the win, but the poise behind it. The way Jack picked his shots, stayed patient under pressure, and never let the pace shake him. He even drew comparisons to Dustin Poirier's moments of success against Makhachev, though he believes Jack's heavier hands and faster timing could push Islam even further into deep water. To Ursig, that unique blend of composure and precision might finally expose some cracks in Makhachev's armor that no one else has been able to reveal.
Yes, I mean, I've known for a very long time that Jack is an amazing fighter. He's really good, and he shocked me on how good he was. Like, he handled the grappling exchanges so well, and it's the best striking performance I've seen from him. Like, he just, like, the big moment, like, he rose to the occasion. It was, like, fantastic to see, and I really do think, I do think that the grappling from Islam, like, he's a better technical grappler than Bilal is, but he's not quite as big. He's not as imposing. And yeah, if you look at the Dustin Poirier fight, Poirier was able to stop some of his takedown and win some scrambles and stuff like that. I feel like not only will Jack be able to do that, but when he lands punches, it's going to be way more devastating.
Max Holloway looked at the matchup from an entirely mental angle. To him, this fight isn't just about who hits harder or who wrestles better, it's a battle of minds. Holloway sees Madalena as one of those rare fighters who can make instant adjustments mid-fight, reading his opponent and switching strategies on the fly. That adaptability could make things very interesting, especially against someone like Makhachev, who's known for sticking to his game plan with near-perfect discipline. Holloway expects the fight to play out like a chess match, with both men constantly adapting, countering, and reacting to each other's moves. In a contest that tight, he believes even the smallest mid-round adjustment could completely change the outcome.
Your thoughts on Islam moving up to welterweight?
I think he'd be fine, man. I think he'd be good, you know. He's the number 2 pound for pound in the world. You gotta respect that, but don't sleep on Jack. I think it's gonna be a tough fight. Jack is one of the best fighters in the world right now, and when that match happens, I'm hearing rumors maybe October. I think it's gonna be a fun fight, smart fight, but a lot of people calling out Jack.
As UFC 322 draws near, the MMA community seems more divided than ever. Some believe Makhachev's elite grappling and discipline will carry him through, even at a higher weight. Others see Madalena's calm, patient, and explosive approach as the perfect antidote to Islam's smothering control. What's certain, though, is that McGregor's words lit the fuse for one of the most talked about fights of the year, and whether those words end up being prophecy or just pre-fight noise, the anticipation around Jack Della Maddalena versus Islam Makhachev has already made it one of the most fascinating clashes in recent UFC history.